Sports Shop on the road, on location edition, and we're at the Tropicana in Atlantic City chilling with a legend right here, as we are pleased to be joined by none other than Brian Westbrook, the great B. West, my man. Thank you so much for hopping on with us.
Man.
Yeah, listen, it's
trying to switch me up. See, like if you go with the handshake, I'm expecting another handshake on this side, and then
I switched it up.
Yeah, he went pound.
We need uniformity in how we address our guests. You know, that's something we need to
There we go.
do. We do it again. Let's start with the Super Bowl first and foremost, because I just can imagine from all the analysis that you've done throughout the year on the radio, on TV as well, that you've been asked the same like 4 or 5 questions. How does it feel? What's it like seeing the city and everything else? But we were also thinking just how personally, because you can separate yourself from former Eagle, legend in the city, as well as competitor.
Right.
And it's hard for us to believe, and maybe you can set it straight, that there isn't just maybe like a small little piece of you inside that's like, I wish I was out there winning that thing too.
You know, for me, I've always looked at football as the game, and it's a small part of your life. I've always looked at it that way, like it's a small part of your life. Now I'm in the phase of raising family, marriage, things like that. So for me to look at it and say, man, I wish I was out there, kind of like, the way I feel about it is like, you had your chance, you didn't get it done, your team didn't get it done, and now it's time for these younger guys, who a lot of them I look at as younger brothers, the same way I would be happy for my brother, in a way that I wouldn't be upset or disappointed or even jealous that I'm not out there watching my brothers out there playing. I'm going to be happy for. That's kind of the same way I feel about this team. I love these guys. These guys did a great job. They overcame an awful lot to be able to put themselves in that situation. Obviously a great season, 13 wins. And for me, when I saw those guys that go out there and win that game in those surroundings, it was awesome. And I certainly appreciate it, but I never really wished that I was out there.
Some guys play for a long time and they never have a chance to win a Super Bowl or a championship, whatever sport. A lot of guys, Charles Barkley went to the finals, lost. You were in a Super Bowl, you guys lost. So how long did that take you to overcome? Did you ever were you haunted by it for a little while?
I wasn't haunted by it. You always feel that next year you go again. You have another opportunity. I remember talking to Mike Vick the year that we beat them in the championship game. We were on the Pro Bowl going to practice, and he was just telling me how cold it was, and his mindset was, well, we'll go back next year, so we don't worry about it. I mean, not that you don't worry about the game, but we'll have another chance, and they never had another chance. And for us, it was the same type of thought. Like, we gave it all. We wanted to win the game, of course, but we always thought that we still had a great team coming back, and obviously a lot of things went on with that team. But we had another chance. And, to kind of sit here, 13, 14 years later and not have that chance again, that's disappointing, but that's the way careers go. There's people like Takeo Spikes that never went to the playoffs, never played on Monday night. I mean, it's crazy. And he played 15, 16 years in the NFL. I was blessed to go to a great situation in a great town with great leaders. And to me, that kind of made my career good, but to make it great, you have to win that one game. That's the one piece you miss out on.
Well, think about it, right? From the fan standpoint, I'm sure you've heard a lot of this. We've talked a lot about this on the Fanatic and throughout the city, which is it eases the pain. Some people might come out and just say, oh, I don't even remember 04 anymore. I don't remember the Bucks anymore.
Right.
I don't remember Ricky Manning Jr. anymore.
Right.
That's gone from my brain. Now, you're playing in those days, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult to remove that. But it kind of sounds like how you're laying it all out, Ryan, that there isn't really much to truly get over outside of just the sting of the loss.
Well, every loss hurts.
Sure.
When you lose that game, those types of situations can change the course of your career, which really can change the course of your life. And when you lose them, you're on the other side. So people look at you a little bit differently. And so, for me, you get over it. You wait till the next time, next opportunity, and hope that comes. For us, it never really materialized again.
Do you think you'll think less of the days in which you were playing? And it's hard because it's not like a fan who was there watching. You actually have to separate yourself from playing. I guess that's more of it. Do you ever find yourself, do you think down the road, this will be the first thing that you remember as far as the Eagles, even though you weren't technically on the field?
No, I wouldn't. I mean, for me, there's a complete separation between those guys winning it in my playing career. And it's weird because I went to, I've seen a lot of different guys out after the game, and they were like, "This is for you," and you guys laid the path, work the ground, and I'm like, "Yeah, that's cool. I'm glad that you said that." But no, this is for you guys. You guys earned it. You guys fought through adversity, injury, everything like that, and did a great job at it. And I'm happy for you guys. You guys earned this opportunity to shine. Go shine as much as you can, and continue to win.
I mean, the reality is, LJ Smith can't go around Philadelphia and get a free meal and a beer. I mean, you win a Super Bowl. You're a legend, you're a star. You can, but not everybody on that team can do that. And you're right, that kind of separates this year's team from the special. But even if you try to separate, as you mentioned, just people talk to you all the time, there's two things that stick out to me, right? One is that there's a dude wearing number 36 who's pretty good on that team. And there's another dude who's playing running back on the team who people remind of you, and that's Corey Clement, catching 4 passes, 100 yards, over-the-shoulder catch in the end zone. Every time I talk about that, people are like, that's a Brian Westbrook-like play. So you're almost going to be attached to it whether you want to or not.
I appreciate that. I love seeing those guys out there. I love seeing Jay wear the number. That's not bad. I love the fact that Corey, an undrafted guy, earned his stripes. I mean, and we watched it, for my career over the first 5 or 6 years. It was a gradual process, maybe 3 or 4 years. But we saw this young man participate on special teams early on the season, making plays, first play of the season, and continue to get better. And then the coaches holding them back a little bit, like, we don't want to use them too much. We don't want to do too much. And then throughout the playoffs, they kind of unleashed them. They were like, listen, go earn it. And I still thought there were plays where they had some more money, more yards to make with handing the ball to Corey or finding a way to get him the ball in the pass game. But he was an explosive player, and you just love to see young guys that have the attitude that I'm willing to do anything to get on the field. Whatever the team needs me to do, it's no ego, it's just whatever you want me to do. And when he gets his opportunity to shine, he just shines. And it was certainly gratifying to see that.
Now, he ran wheel routes, okay?
Yeah.
You ran slot receiver routes.
Yeah,
Do you
right.
think that he has that kind of skill set? Because a lot of people say the way he plays the game and in the confines of the offense is a reminder of the way they use you. Now, they didn't use you like that straight up first year, so do you think he can develop like that?
No question. I mean, I think that all this is about how much do you want it? I mean, if you want to be better at shooting basketball, you got to go shoot the basketball.
Right.
Same thing here. If you want to be good at route running, which he has a capability, he has a skill set to be, then he got to go run routes. And this offseason is going to be critical for him because I would believe that Doug and the offensive side of the ball is trying to find ways to get him the ball more. And that means lining up in the slot, lining up in the backfield, doing a lot of different things. And this offseason is tough because you go this long into the postseason, and then you gotta celebrate a little bit for another month, and you just don't want it to drag into that time, that space that you need to have to get you prepared for the season. And it's not for him. It's not just being prepared, getting into shape. It's I have to perfect my game.
Right.
Now I have to be a bigger part of this offense, bigger part of this team, and that takes time. It takes hours and hours of all-season work, and hopefully he's doing that.
And I think just from looking at it on the outside, and you close to the guys playing, Jeff down there all the time, it just looks like this is, and I don't want to point to one person, Carson, Doug, but it looks like this is a crew where nobody's going to let that happen. And you mentioned selfless, lack of ego. Have you ever seen a team, have you ever been a part of, and just isolated maybe 1 year, where it was just, no matter how much talent is on the team, you know that everybody's ego's in check, everybody shows up to work, and you know what too, like everybody enjoys working together.
I mean, it's hard. It's hard to do that. I mean, they had some guys on that team where they didn't fit in other places, and they came here. Kind of that chops your ego in half right there. And then as they continue to get better, those guys build up those egos again. I just see this team continue to function in a positive way, meaning, when you have that leader, Carson, you have those leaders like Doug, the head coach, that says, listen, no one's bigger than the team, it's us against the world. And that philosophy allows you to win. I mean, it's not just talk now. Listen, this is the thought process we had these last 5 or 6 weeks. No one believed in this, us against the world, and we made it work for us. And that's what we need to continue to do. And that you can, for players, the proof is in the pudding. If you show me it worked, I believe it. And Doug has now had the ability to show this team that it worked, and I think the guys will continue to believe in that.
One last question, because we were talking about past teams that didn't do and forgiveness for legends who came before. one thing we talk about a lot, radio just around town, Donovan. You know, I feel like we can't get Philly to still. Now that the Super Bowl's here, we can't get Philly to still love Donovan.
Yeah. It's not all Philly that does it. Don't speak.
Not all. But like,
a lot of us,
there's still a lot of people who don't want to love Donovan.
I don't mean, you guys know how I feel about Don. My man, I was part of the team that he carried.
Yeah.
And I mean literally carried all by himself. So I know how important he was to these teams. I know the things that he was able to do, injured, healthy, to carry these teams. I truly believe, and I heard Donovan say this, but I think he has been graded on a different scale. And for him, the scale continues to change. And it's unfortunate, but that's just the way of the world sometimes. He put himself in some bad situations after he retired. And, you know, that kind of happens too. And now he's trying to rectify those type of things. But if you can't appreciate a quarterback that brought the type of wins that Donovan brought and all the things that he did, and, you know, during his career, he did it the right way. Whether people liked it or not, he didn't talk bad about people. Even when they came at him, I mean, he did it the right way. And I respect that. I'm not sure why Philly doesn't embrace him the way that other people have been embracing. I know there's a couple different ways to look at it, but if you just look at strictly on the field, I mean, it's hard to look past what he was able to bring. And he literally carried the football team for a long time. And to me, I can never look past that.
That's the legend, Brian Westbrook. B West in the house, Sports Shop on location.